Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you guys doing all right. It is really cold outside. It's supposed to be another Arctic blast coming through, so make sure you guys are bundled up and don't look like Jack Nicholson at the end of The Shining. So I was thinking about what I was going to do last night, and have you ever wondered why you just can't really get ahead? Why everything seems to fail, right? You try to save as much money as possible, can't do it. You try to go to school, back to college, like I'm going. It just seems so difficult, so frustrating. You try to think outside the box, and sometimes there's this brain fog that just keeps you from having breakthroughs, right? Well, you're not the only one. We were trained to fail. I hear all the time that our society has failed us, men in particular. But it's not that we were failed, we were trained to fail. And if anything else, COVID-19, the way that was handled, really goes to show really goes to show it for what it was. The education department has been really trying to push out compliant little puppies. And it started with trying to treat boys and girls the same. And from an early age, we don't even realize it, but from an early age, they teach us to comply, right? Through the study program. By teaching us how to study. They only teach us one way to study. There's multiple ways. There's multiple ways to solve a problem, to memorize, right? But they only teach one way. And remember when I said memorize? Yeah, exactly. They only teach us to memorize. They don't teach us to think outside the box, to think for ourselves. They don't teach us that. Ask yourself, why, when you got out of high school, why is it that most people don't know how to change a tire? Why is it that most people don't know how to change oil in their cars? How to write a check? How to even sign their own name? Cursive was in school when I was young, and now it's not even curriculum. So how are supposed to people know who you are if you can't sign your name, right? And so from early education career, from early on in your education career on up, it only gets a little bit more apparent, right? That you're supposed to sit in a classroom for all day and just watch and listen. I'm the hands-on kind of person. I love to get into everything, right? And I learn visually. I learn hands-on. And so, sitting and just watching is so boring to me. It's just boring. And that's most men. Most men would much rather, if someone's teaching a carpentry class, I want to get in there, right? And I want to start building with my own hands. But the thing is, school really tries to beat that out of young boys. And obviously not just school, right? I mean, young boys used to have the Boy Scouts, and that was huge. It was really huge. Now that's gone. They want you to study the same. They want you to act the same. Most importantly, they want you to comply the same. Because if they can get you to think the same way, you will act the same way. You know, when you get out of high school and into college, you know, some of the stuff that you are learning about in college, you're like, I had no idea this existed in you know, from my high school years. That was me, you know. I'm of course, you know, it's been what, 5 or 6 years since I've been out of school, but well, full time anyways. But you know, some of the stuff I had, you know, no idea. You know, I didn't even come from a bad school. It was a good school. But you're trained to fail, right? Because not only do they not teach you these things, right, or teach you the wrong things, but they make things so difficult that it's better to do something else, to put your time into something else, than it is to you know, getting that degree, right? And society keeps pushing this degree, yet inundating you with all of these student loans and all of this work that basically eliminates your work-life balance. You know, I mean, you're doing homework on Saturday and Sunday, right? And if you don't get it done, you're behind. And that's just ridiculous to me. And in a time where it's so uncertain if you're going to get that degree, right, and then an actual job on top of that because of all these ghost jobs. If you get past that, is AI going to take your job in the next 5 to 10 years? You just have no idea, right? So a lot of college students are going through, they have all these questions, they're not being answered, not at all. And a lot of them are dropping out because they're not being answered. And then we have the men that are honestly failing the hardest right now. You know, I think it's I think females make up 60%, I think, in colleges now. That's crazy. You know, and women already make up over half of the workforce, right? So, you know, men are really falling behind. This is where it gets really dangerous, though, is that when men start to fall behind, the whole nation really starts falling behind. You know, you look at Sparta. Sparta was known as one of the strongest city-states, right, in ancient Greece. I mean, they were training, you know, young boys to fight since 6 or 7, I believe. And in the early years, you know, they were really kicking ass. But later on, when men lost their firm grip, the nation began to really suffer, and it didn't take long. It didn't take too long after that for the nation to fall. So, we gotta, something has to be done, right? And the only way that we can do that is that if we talk about it, right? We be so loud that the people up at the top can't ignore us. Because unfortunately, that's the only way that really anything gets done. So, hey guys, do me a favor if you come across this video, right? Type "we were failed" in the comments. Let's have this algorithm trending, guys. Because we need to get this word out. I'm sick and tired of this country falling so far behind each day, right? That people can't even eat. Supposedly the American dream, right, is to go to college and get a degree. But you go and you get a degree, and then 6 months to a year later, you're now replaced by artificial intelligence. Because the bottom line says so. It's because it's cheaper to pay an AI system to do your job than it is to have you whine about your wages, right? Whine about your wages. It's crazy. It's really insane. And if you start asking questions, well, that's a huge problem, right? That's exactly why they were training you to be compliant, so that you don't ask questions. I mean, people were really just, lives were destroyed. Lives were really destroyed. I was removed from service because of the way that COVID-19 was handled. I began to ask questions, right? I began to do my own research. I began to think outside the box, right? And that's something especially that the military doesn't like you to do either. They don't like you to think for yourself. So they train you to fail, and they want you to keep failing. Why? Because it makes them money. That's why. If they keep you dumb, if they keep you content with all the things that are around you, with DoorDash, with video games, buying the next bag for my ladies out there, the shiniest new gun, because I'm a big gun guy. So if they keep you pursuing that, right, keep you content, you're just docile. That's it. But the thing is that people are getting out of that docile trance, right? People are really getting pissed off because of the way that they're living. And as soon as you start asking questions, they'll try to shut you down real quick. That's why the algorithm is the way it is. People's businesses were destroyed because they refused to comply. This nation was built off of defiance. It's quite ironic, isn't it? So, prime example of things actually working when you take a stance. I don't know if you guys remember in 2018 where the Virginia governor, I can't remember his name. It was before Governor Youngkin was trying to use the National Guard in order to infringe on the Virginia's Second Amendment rights. Well, there were thousands upon thousands of people that showed up armed in protest. Yeah, that shit got turned down real quick. Right? It's social pressure. You know? Rightfully so. Obviously, don't do anything violent. Don't do that. But, you know, protest peacefully. You know, make your voices heard. But, so, that's how you keep, that's how they trained you from childhood to be compliant, to be docile, to be weak. And this is what it does. Work until you're dead. That's what they want you to do. Retirement age is 67 now. The way things are going now, I can guarantee you they're going to try and push it up to 70, 75, maybe 80. Little grandma's be knitting and flipping burgers at the same time. It's funny, but it's not. You know, when I was in high school, I saw this woman, poor lady. She was in her 60s, and she was running everywhere. It was sad. It was really sad. And then a few years later, when I was my last year in, I believe I was stateside, and I saw a woman that was even older. She had to be in her 70s, taking orders at Taco Bell. I'm like, how do you get in that position? You know, why is our nation failing people this hard? And then you also have veterans that are failed too, every single day. I mean, you know, veterans can't even really get the mental health that they really need. They're struggling with that. So many people haven't made it. So it's failed you from the start. That was always the plan, to keep you compliant, docile, so you can work and make them money. That's what it's about. The only way you break free is your will to break free. Now, I can't tell you what to do in your particular situation, right? What I will tell you is to use good judgment, invest in yourself, figure out a way to make yourself financially stable enough to be independent, be on your own. I'm talking to my guys out there, because everything depends on you. So, all right, guys, this video is a little bit over time, but had a lot to talk about. There's a lot to say when it comes to this. I can go on forever, but I got to cut this off here because I have something else I want to talk about. So, appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys happen to have any thoughts, leave them down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking. This is a very hot topic, but for those of you who are just coming to this information, I'm glad you have it. This needs to be more conversation, right? So, again, appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you take care on this really cold day, and I will talk to you soon.